Hey, what's happening? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you betcha. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Alrighty. Just have to think through
Yeah.
the technical side of this. Okay, so if I share my screen on Discord, right, and I'm getting a bit of feedback here, which is
Let me put my headphones in. Hold on
okay.
here. I just had you on
Perfect.
the. Let's see if this will do a yield trick.
Cool.
Let me see if I can. Okay. 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 How about now?
All right, testing, testing, testing. See if I hear
Yeah,
any
yeah.
feedback. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to share my screen on, let's just do this screen as a whole. And we'll say low resolution. We're just gonna see. Will be a good test of the bandwidth here. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So, um, and I am. All right. That's just gonna take a couple seconds to update on the stream.
Can,
Probably a delay of about
can you
20.
can you can you see me okay here?
Let me see.
Yeah,
I'm so new
maybe I
to
should turn the light on.
Discord.
I'm gonna turn this way. Hold on.
Let's see.
Okay.
Perfect.
Maybe the light better this way. Hold on now.
Cool.
See what we got here.
Toss that over there. And
Yeah. Okay.
we are going to. Perfect. And I think it makes sense. I wonder, is this going to. I mean, I'm obviously going to get a huge. Let me see if I can go live here. Yeah, I'm going to get this huge feedback thing. Yeah, pause the preview to save resources. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Do you work in tech, by the way? I'm assuming in the Bay Area.
Oh, yeah. I'm a software engineer at Google.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so because I was gonna say, I was like, Discord is such a great product. Like, it's just, I'm a web developer. Every time you use Discord, I'm like,
Oh,
man, they put the little polish on this thing. Um,
yeah. It's really interesting. Like people who haven't used it, they're just like, wait, how do I get into it? It seems so good, but people who use it, they really like it. It's just I haven't met anybody that's used it frequently and doesn't like it. It's very, very clean.
totally, totally. Yeah, it is a little menu divey, but once you get used to it, it's like, it's just like, oh man, like what a group of engineers. All right.
Oh
I
yeah.
guess that'll just turn off automatically as I. Awesome. Alrighty. So, let's just hop right into it. This is for jazz articulation. Was your the thing that you were really workshopping recently? Hey.
Yeah. Because like for me, so I got my degree in music theory. So
Yep.
I was my principal instrument was the double bass, and I
Mm-hmm.
started playing like sax and like the wind ensemble and stuff.
Cool.
And I just hated carrying a bass around for several years, and
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, let me go and so I started playing. I've been playing sax. I would say probably 3 years combined. Actually, really trying to dig into it and really improve. And so I play with Google's Big Band
Mm-hmm.
and their jazz combo. And so a lot of the folks in there, really really talented. And what I really like about it is it's a really great place to workshop and really get your feet wet and playing in that style, that environment. But one thing I noticed is that I've gotten somewhat decent at reading, and I think I can get a good sound out most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But that articulation, that dude and tonguing is something that it really escapes me.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of folks, just on YouTube. I had one sax lesson in my life, but it was this guy who was like kind of weird, and he told me to like he gave me his read after he used it. It was uncomfortable, so I just and yeah, it was weird. And so since I when I'm like really trying to like look at the like basically just at this point just videos, right,
Yeah.
on how to get really into the jazz articulation. I People are saying the same thing. You have the dude in tongue ascending, and then the that do on the descending, and I and
Right.
I I hear it, I
Yep.
see it, but the connection is not there. You
100%. Yeah.
know?
I remember running into this exact same problem because they would say, "Oh, tongue the off notes or do this, do that." Um so I'll break this I'll help you break through this plateau cuz I have 100% been there. And the trick is that realizing that all of these great players, they didn't have the resources that we did, and they picked up this um this skill sort of thing. So it's like it's not
Yeah.
there's not some holy grail that we're going to find on the internet. There's nothing. How did they pick up this skill? And if you think about it, they must have picked it up orally. Like they lived in a time where jazz was just like it was impossible to escape, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So in order
Just
to
prolific at that
achieve,
point.
yes, absolutely. So now, however, that can be simulated. And so how much listening are you doing right now? Like how much of your time spent listening to music is specifically jazz and the articulation style that you want to?
I mean, at this point, it's got to be at least a couple hours a day.
Okay,
You
good.
know,
Perfect. Okay,
um,
so that's
yeah,
that's the first step. So that okay, so we get because a lot of people like they'll be like, I'm having trouble with the articulation, and it's like, okay, well, what are you listening to? And they're like, well, nothing. And it's like, well, no wonder you're not picking it up. You don't even know what it sounds like. Like it's all just like it's like trying to learn how to like a language using a dictionary. It's like, well, no, like you got to talk to
yeah.
people if you want to learn a language, sort of thing. So okay, so that's number one. Number two is this. There's it's unfortunately it's a bit of I don't know a softer way to put it, but it is a bit of a uh, uh, it's a bit too abstracted to say. Oh, you just do on the up you do this on this pattern and on the it's way like if you actually sit down. Do you do much transcription?
No, I mean,
Bingo.
I try
Ah, yeah,
basically just a few licks here and there, but
totally.
no, I don't sit and you
Bingo.
know,
That is a huge barrier to like if you started transcribing, you would be you would be past this by yourself. It would have unlocked for you,
mm,
sort of thing. So hugely because when you transcribe, one of the things, unless you have an incredible ear, is you have to use a slowdowner. And then one of the things that happens in that process is you really like you can hear. I'll point to my ear in the camera here. You can hear the tongue on the reed. When it's going really slow, you can hear it. And what you'll hear is that they are not tonguing every other note. Sometimes it's actually on the on beat, sometimes it's on the off beat. And actually, it's a lot more like like I mean you said that you played in the Google Google has a community band that they have put together.
yeah, they have
Okay,
a
well,
big band
perfect. I bet
and a
there's some
jazz combo.
absolute, as Miles Davis would say, mother in that band. Like
Yeah,
that,
no,
there's got to be
it's
some
it's some
players. There's some players in there. I
yeah,
bet.
yeah,
uh, so where was I with that? So you can hear the reed, you can hear the tongue in your ear, and what they're doing is the snare drum on the like when a drummer he's comping with you, and it's like ga, 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 ga. That's what they're doing with the
yeah.
tongue is they're simulating the snare drum of the drummer. And so what are the rules to that? And it's like really there are no rules. It's really anywhere that you can put an inflection to speak that jazz language in there, you do it, especially on those like 300 beats per minute. It's like you're not going to be able to tongue every note. I mean, you're lucky if you're going to be able to tongue
Mm.
every other note. If you listen to Coltrane on Giant Steps, like he's barely tonguing anything. It's like once on like a group of 4 to 8 notes, he'll drop his tongue in there, and
Mm.
he'll only ghost it because at 300 beats per minute, ghosting's sorry. Do you know what ghosting is?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's just
perfect.
it's where you don't put enough air through and you stop the reed so that you have a bit of the vibration till you can barely get a taste of the note. It's like the
Yep.
LaCroix of a note.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, just like a whiff of the tongue, like so that you still kind of get that note coming through. That's honestly at those faster speeds. That's what ends up happening to jazz articulation, is it becomes kind of ghosting only. So the biggest exercise that I could recommend to you for developing that jazz articulation is find a player that you just love the articulation of. You like who would that be actually? Like is that a Sonny Rollins? Is it Coltrane? Who for
Probably
you?
Joel, I would say alive right now. Joel from is Joel. I say Joel from Walter Blanding, and I mean Patrick Bartley, but that's
Okay.
impossible. I don't think I'll ever get to that level.
You'd be surprised. You'd be
uh,
surprised. Okay, so somebody accessible. So the first name that you mentioned. If you can find a recording of um, a recording that you can actually get a physical copy of the file of, and I mean you're a software developer, so I'm sure you could figure out how to,
yeah,
arrange that. But drop that into a slowdowner. I highly recommend.
yeah,
There's a program called Transcribe. I'll play it on the screen right here. It looks like a potato, but honestly, it's a bulletproof piece of software. It's been with me for about 15 years now. And I paid once for it for a license 15 years ago. It's like not a subscription, which is just a rarity these days, as you know. It's a little on the pricey side, but hey, for to pay once for it, it's not bad. There's all sorts of. I'm sure you can
yeah.
find an app on your phone, but dump one of those recordings in there and slow it down and see if you can write out like just a single bar. If you've never transcribed before, it'll take you quite a while, but get one bar on and listen for where the tongue is hitting. And then what I want you to do is I want you to play along at a reasonable speed, about 20% of like a comfortable speed, and actually drop that by about 20%. So if you can play it at 100 beats per minute, let's drop it down to 80, and just nail the articulation. And with their sound and their tongue in your cans, okay? So that you can hear their tongue right against your ears, and just copy it. And you're just
Hmm.
going to copy it over and over for as long as you can bear, until it's like, okay,
Okay,
increase it by 4 BPM, and then keep going. And then keep going and keep going, get it up until about 80 to 90% of your, like where it starts kind of falling apart a little bit, okay? Um
yeah,
you don't want to push it back there, because if you push it past that, you're going to start to get sloppy. And you're going to start to develop bad habits. At that point, stop it, shut it down, go to bed, or like, chill out for the rest of the evening, and then come back the next day. And if you do that consistently for a week, like half an hour to an hour, and you do that for a week straight, your tongue will get up to the speed easily. Like it will just happen, especially with those really good quality sleeps and the back to back practicing. Your tongue will get up to the speed, and it will start to copy, like monkey see, monkey do, except you're not seeing the person. Like it will start to
mm,
transcribe and internalize exactly how the tongue is hitting that reed. And it varies from player to player. Like if you transcribe some Sonny Rollins, you're going to pick up like a super ghosty kind of, like he almost even just doesn't even lift the tongue off the reed. You can hear it. He just kind of varies the pressure in order to like, because that guy, he's just a machine sort of thing. So um, anyway, that would be if I was to like prescribe, um, uh, I worked in healthcare for about 10 years. So if I was to like prescribe a treatment,
yeah,
if there was, something I write a script for, that would be it. It's like every day for an hour, a piece of me, like a transcribe a line that you really want. You're like, oh, I have to have this under your fingers. So it's just like, it just drives that, you can't wait to sit down and get it. And that will start the process of being able to internalize that jazz tongue. Um, the second part of that, and we'll break for a little bit here. We'll like actually do some playing and see if unfortunately we can't play like copyrighted music over YouTube, so that's a bit of a barrier. But the second part of that is doing that with other lines, and then start to improvise. I'm assuming like the point of this is for eventually doing solos, or are you mostly trying to get like, are you trying to be like a reader, like a big band kind of?
oh yeah, no, I mean both, but largely for the improvisational because for
Perfect.
most of the most of the big band charts, it's the articulation's already written,
Right.
so it's yeah,
Totally, totally. Although in a lot of big band charts, like depending on the quality chart, the articulations a lot of times are a lie, or they don't really like
yeah,
fully, tell the whole story. And there's kind of has to be like a consensus among the. I'm sure you've already run into that, especially with the.
their lead alto pretty much decides it's okay. This is how we're gonna run this line.
Yeah,
We're gonna do it like this. Make sure to
yeah,
hit.
yeah. Totally, totally. Which is my favorite thing about jazz. It's just like, it's like unlike classical. You're just like, all right, scratch this, change. It's just like little workshop music.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be the next part, is trying to use that in your improvisation, that specific tonguing. But I want to caution you against like being so, especially like being such a left-brained person, like myself, is to not and don't be like, okay, I'm going to do articulation number 1 followed by number 2, and then I'm going to do 1 prime,
Mm,
like you at
that
the end of the
that's
day.
my problem.
Yes, that's exactly it. I figured I nailed it on the head. So because I've run into this exact same thing. Is like, how do I just get it to, well, I mean, that's kind of the process of just kind of the first improvisational exercise that most should start with is just with no rules and no structure, no chords, and nobody ideally listening, so there's there to judgment. Just kind of play in an environment where you don't care, and so that you can practice that not caring, and so that you can just let go of the fear of playing an articulation that isn't the jazz articulation sort of thing. Because for lines that require jazz articulation, the tonguing is going to be going by so fast that nobody, like 98% of your audience, is not going to be like, oh, that wasn't actually, that was a little, like nobody's, what makes it jazz is the fact that it's coming from inside you. It's your authentic self, and you can't be your authentic self if you're thinking of, oh, I'm going to copy this, the articulation, that one that I was working on this morning, I'm going to drop that articulation. It's like, no, when you're improvising, it has to be you, and authentically you, and the audience is going to connect with that way more than you trying to copy something that they could just go listen for free on Spotify. Like, for live music and for jazz, they're there for you, and that's the thing that like captures people's attention with jazz, is that they're like, if you don't even know what the next note is going to be, the audience is going to be, and you're excited about that, the audience is they're going to dial in on that excitement, and they're going to be just as excited as you, because they're like on this like train wreck with you, right? They're just like, oh my god, like, are we gonna, sort of thing. And then that to me is like the driving force of what makes jazz so listenable, sort of thing. So, and one of the reasons why it's kind of tough to like for people to listen to jazz on a recording and like get it, like it's like you kind of have to, you get that live and you see them and you're like, oh my god, this is like, he's really just making this stuff up. Like that thing he just played didn't even really sound very good, but we have to keep going. It's just kind of like this kind of reflection of kind of how life works, is that you don't, there's no real, you don't really get a chance to kind of stop. You just kind of have to make do with the mistakes that happen and keep going. So anyway, let's the other key for articulation, do you have the ability to boil water right now? Available? Did you say that note?
Oh, well, right now,
Yeah.
I could, yeah,
Could you do that in the background? Do you soak your reeds?
No, I don't. I tried. I didn't.
Yep.
I hadn't had like a good,
Totally.
like, any luck with it,
Totally. Because there's a way you have to do it. There's a way you have to do it. It was taught to me by the baritone saxophone player Wynton Marsalis's orchestra, and as soon as I started soaking reeds the way he instructed me to, it completely unlocked the world of tone, the world of overtones, like the world of articulation, the ability to do long sessions and to really get the most out of a reed. It was a complete game changer for me. So if you don't mind,
Wait,
if
so
you can set the totally.
yeah.
Yeah, so we'll boil water in the background, but yeah, and then when you get back, I'll let you know on what the secret is.
Okay, because let me see. I could probably. So let me see. Because okay, so this is a separate dwelling of the house, so
Oh,
I
okay.
can I can walk. Or I don't know. Is this going to be just one continuous stream, or are you editing it
No,
for
well, I mean, I
for
might take I'll take some clips from it, but I think I'm mostly just going to let it just kind of be vanilla.
I was just gonna call my wife real quick, who's in the house, and
Yeah, go for it.
I
Go for it.
just I don't.
Totally. Yeah, I think anyone that's going
Yeah,
to be
hold on.
watching this as long form content is going to be they'll be into this kind of like this kind of authentic kind of like, oh, we got to like, let's boil some water on stream.
Okay. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna
No
go.
worries, man. Cheers. Cheers. Take your time.
Oh, yeah, let me put my.
I'll get my horn set up in the background and I'll meet you back here.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Okay. Oh,
In the water.
yeah, I had you on mute for a second. Sorry, what'd you say?
I said, no, I'm in the kitchen right now boiling some water.
Perfect. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is the best stream ever.
So yeah, am I on two screens right now? No, I think did my laptop disconnect or is it still connected?
I think it disconnected. It dropped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bad.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I've had the ability to have a separate. So hold on, let me just turn this around real quick. Let's see,
Oh yeah.
boils a little
Oh
bit
yeah.
faster in the pan,
Oh, it's
but
good. We
no,
can turn this into a tutorial video later.
yeah. So this is so that's the studio there. Um, and so it's
No, cool.
yeah, it's a step. I got to walk over there, but I have a newborn here, so when the baby is trying to sleep, I can't just be tooting because
Right. Yeah. Totally. They tend to not like that. They it takes a yeah. Yeah.
I tried one time, he didn't like it, so
Totally. Yeah. Well, you need to get better. Just kidding. Oh,
there
there he is in the background.
yeah, no, but
Oh man.
my wife is tending to him right now, but he's been too long at IKEA, and so he's
Oh, he's
real,
cranky.
yeah.
No worries. No
But
worries.
this should be going here in a second. So should I have brought? I guess I should have brought reeds, or should I pour the water in a cup
Oh,
when it's
it's
ready and
fine.
then take it out there?
Yeah.
What's the move?
Yeah. Get as ideally a bowl. And then ideally like a fork or something like that. Something to weigh down the reeds so that they're fully submerged.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not a huge deal if we can't fully submerge them, but it does help quite a bit.
Oh no, I think I can definitely.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll just get I'll get this like spatula, and then I'll put them.
Perfect. And I'm
I'm trying to figure this.
no, this is cool. And then
I'll
I'm
just like this can lay down. I think like that, and
yep,
maybe
perfect.
something like that when they.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend drinking the water afterwards, just as a, you know, you know, just learn from my experience.
You said, well, why would I? Nah, nah, man. How does that?
It's whole, it's holy water. It contains the jazz essence. You might. No, I was kidding.
I was like, wait, it's not my reads. That might be your reads. Not mine don't have that.
Oh yeah, mine are especially ripe. Just from multiple soakings. But I got I'm such a soaking addict that I have a miniature crock pot and a stainless steel mesh that I've cut to size so that it just sits perfectly on top of. I'll soak like 5 reeds at a time, and then when I
I
sit
mean,
down, I'll take it out. Yep.
if it's magic, I'll give me a
Yep.
little crock pot too. You let me
Totally.
know what the move is.
Yeah. No. It makes such a huge like, especially because uh, as you do a practice session. So one of the things about soaking reeds is it absolutely sucks the life out of it. Did you see what's that movie? The Dark Crystal.
No.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay. Not the
Dark
original
Crystal.
or the remake. Anyway, there's a character in there, and they suck out the essence of these poor innocent creatures.
Mhm.
Soaking a reed suck like it just absolutely drains the life out of a reed. Like it takes a reed that could have lasted a year, and it'll last a month instead, sort of thing. But the quality that you extract in that month is what would have been like it concentrates the quality of the reed. I find.
I see.
And so sometimes
Okay.
if in a practice session, after like an hour and a half, the reed will just die. It'll just completely shut down. It'll be because you've just toasted it. You've sucked it of all of its essence. At that point, and that's why I have the crock pot, is I can turf that reed or I can let it, I can save it to dry out for later and see if it'll recover. And I can just take a reed that's already soaked and already warm, because when the water gets cold, the reeds, they don't I think it's because the pores of the wood close up. Like there's something about, and you can replicate this. Like this is why people are like, oh, um, uh, once you play on a horn for like 3 hours, it's like really ready to go. Well, like most of that is the humidity entering the reed, and the reed getting warm, and it being in your mouth, and the pores of the wood opening up. Is my theory anyway. I'm not, I'm not a scientist, but I've just, I would like it's to the point where I would not play on an unsoaked reed. Like it's that much of a difference. I don't even sound like myself. So
Mm.
now some
Oh, so
reeds.
should I get reeds to bring out here, or should I take it, put it in the bowl, and bring the bowl out there?
We'll bring the boiling water back to your yeah, it's not a huge deal that we're putting it like in water that boiled 30 seconds to a minute ago. It's mostly just the fact that it needs like at least 5 minutes of sitting in that very hot water for a reed to really open up,
I'll get like this Pyrex or something. And,
Perfect. Nice.
Make sure this fits in here. That should fit, right? Yeah, that'll fit. Trying to do some calculations real quick. Maybe I was thinking if I get like maybe it might be better to get like tongs or something to like hold them together and soak them in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I think this will work. I think this is the move. So let me pour this. Okay. I'm not gonna burn myself. Maybe I'll do this over the sink. Okay. All right. I got it. It also doesn't help that I broke my wrist like 2 months ago and is still recovering.
Oh, that's not a good move.
Thank you.
that's my saxophone tip of the day, actually.
Oh yeah, no, that was so my wife would get the door for me. So I was, but okay, here we go. Let's go back to the. Well, look, if you're ever in the Bay Area and you wanna get jazzy with some Googlers, I'm like 100% confident the big band would be grateful for this masterclass, especially the sax section.
Oh, that'd be incredible to sit down and do, and especially with some, there's not a whole lot of, or I shouldn't say that. It's a very small tech community where I'm from, which is Calgary, Alberta, Canada. But you're in the Mecca over there.
Okay. Here we go. All right. We made it. We made it. Now, how many reeds can I put in here?
Hey, as
Or
many
is
as
it?
I've never found a maximum. Although I don't soak any more than 5 at a time, because it's usually you'll find at least one player in a group of 5. Like a sample of 5 reeds, one of them will be behaving that day. Oh, perfect. And you've got quite a collection too, so that's always helpful. It's when you get younger players, they'll have like 2, and one of them will be like split in half, and you're like, oh geez, soaking's not really going to help this situation.
I have
3.
I have a methodology here. So you see this smiley face means that it's pretty good.
Nice,
Okay.
nice.
This big smiley face, this one is we use for performances. So and the ones
Totally.
that don't have smiley faces yet, that's well, we don't know. They haven't made the cut just yet.
Right, right, totally. And yeah, for I just hope the Sharpie doesn't come off in the water, and um it should be dry by now, but I'm a little
Oh,
just
they'll figure. I mean, look, after this, we're gonna have to redo the system. We'll have to see, they'll have to
right.
re-audition.
So what I really like for marking reads to determine if they're players or not, I actually do a perfect. Yeah, and if you can put some sort of weight on that so that they sync.
I'm
Yes.
gonna see if I can. Okay, hold on. I gotta figure this out. I gotta figure this out.
Totally. I literally
Let's-
spent 10 years struggling with this exact problem until I found stainless steel mesh. If I'm ever down in the Bay Area, I will bring some and
Yeah.
distribute it. Cuz it's
Please do. I promise you, we're all trying to. Okay. Hold on. Here.
yeah.
Okay. And
This is
then if
funny.
yeah.
I did this for years, this exact like tongs trying to get all the reads. It's not a huge, even if you can get like 2 fully submerged,
I'm gonna.
that'll be
I'm
plenty.
gonna get. We're gonna get a couple in there.
Nice, nice. Good.
I promise I'm okay. I'm sorry. You can continue as I struggle.
No, this is good. This is part of the this is yes, like
You boiling water just shooting everywhere.
yeah.
I really should have brought the spatula, the tongs. It worked differently in my head.
Right.
How this was,
right.
I was gonna just clip them and then tighten it, and okay, I gotta vice grip it. Okay.
All right, nobody move.
I think. Okay, I got 2.
Perfect. Hey, that'll be good enough.
I got 2 soaking in there.
Yeah, that'll be perfectly fine. Yeah, one of those will behave themselves. Okay, so
Yeah, that's
I'm just gonna set a timer for at least 5 minutes, and at the 5-minute mark, we'll pull out one of the ones that's sitting on top, and we'll just see how these things are going to behave. But usually, what the baritone saxophone player said, the top of this
is he said.
All right, I think is the feedback done?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm switching back to my here.
Perfect. Let's test the feedback.
Is it?
Awesome. I'm not
Yeah.
hearing myself anymore. So it's ideally 20 minutes. 20 minutes is kind of the maximum, or sorry, that's kind of like the money zone of like when they're really ready to go. However, if you're in a hurry to like get practicing or you have limited time, 5 minutes is completely sufficient. And then 15 minutes later, after you're playing on the 5-minute read, you can pull one of the now 20-minute reads out, and then you're really off to the races, sort of thing. So
What do you do at like a gig or something if you're like out? Do you
totally, I bring a
like
crock
part of the rider to get like some ball? Oh.
Yeah, I bring my yeah.
Guess you got to make
Yeah, it's a tiny
the
crock
mini
pot.
crock.
It's about the size of like 2 fists. It's really, really tiny. It plugs into any standard outlet. And worse comes to worse, I always have like you can always find hot water in a kitchen or something. Like they always have the ability to make tea pretty much anywhere you go. And then worse
Yeah.
comes to worse, I bring one of those camping stoves and a microscopic cast iron kettle, and then I just kind of burn some isopropyl and
This
yeah.
man, this man's really about that soap life. I want to see what it's like. It must be something.
It's incredible. Like it allows you to play on much harder reads without the difficulty. Like what do you play on right now as far as read strength?
1.5s or 2s.
Cool. Yeah, so it'll make it so much easier to climb up into the 3s and I play on a 3.5. And honestly, it feels like probably what a 2 feels like for a beginner because of that soak. Like it takes nothing to get that read going because it's so warm. It's so malleable because it's just basically 50% water at that point, sort of thing. and then it gives you a much better sense of like the quality of a read, because it's like it gets that read to that 2 hour warmed up point right away, so that you can assess, okay, is this a playing read, like worth investing in, or is this just kind of something that, like some reads like you'll play and it'll be like, wow, this is amazing for like 5 minutes, and all of a sudden it's just gone and you can't even and it's like,
Do you shave your reads at all,
no,
or clip them or anything like that?
absolutely not. No, unless you have nothing to do all day, but like clip reads in practice, I wouldn't recommend. I call it don't spend time playing read doctor that you could spend practicing. Like
Mm.
15 minutes playing read that you could have done 15 minutes of scales, 15 minutes, it's the opportunity cost of playing read doctor. Honestly, and reads are I play I actually play on the cheapest reads you can possibly buy, which is the Orange Box Ricos. Because because of soaking, I actually don't need to buy super high quality reads, because it just fluffs up a read so much. And then because they're cheap, I actually don't care when it's not like a $7 read to me. I don't know what reads cost down where you're at, but it's like it doesn't break my heart to smash a read against the wall if it's not playing and move on to the next one, right? Instead of spending 15 minutes of like, okay, maybe we can save this one. It's like, enough, call it, smash it, next, and you only have to go through about like, 2 or 3 reads before you find one that'll play for you perfectly fine for a month. Like people are like, oh, I can't afford, reads, they're very expensive. It's like, yeah, where'd that saxophone came from? Like what? Like that's a $5,000 instrument. What do you mean you can't afford a couple, $2-3 pieces of wood? Like. I see those fast food containers in the background. I mean, I'm sure you can, make some sacrifices and afford I mean, a box of reeds. I mean, if you're seriously practicing, a box of reeds will last you months. So, and it's like, they're a bit, a box of reeds can be like $70 Canadian, which is, about 25 cents American these days, but
Yeah, I mean, I play the Orange Box Ricos, and now I started playing on the Van Doren Javas, the
Yep.
greens. And yeah, those are, I found those that have the most success. But again, I'm not soaking them, so
Totally.
we'll see how this.
Totally. I really like those Van Doren, the green box as well. My recommendation for reeds is that you should always diversify your read portfolio. You should always have a bunch of different, because especially if you're traveling ever, an Orange Box Rico might be perfectly fine where I'm at right now, but if I travel to Vancouver, you better betcha they are absolutely going to abandon me. And it'll be some other brand that in those humidity and altitude conditions is going to really shine. So I always just have a bunch. Like anytime, like, oh, there you look, a new kind of read I've never seen before. I just, 20, $30 later, add it to my portfolio. You never know. I'm just a real sucker for Orange Box Ricos, because an Orange Box Rico has saved me on a gig more times than any other read, where I'm like, nothing in my box is playing, and I'm like, oh, the only other thing that I have in here is like this like rusty old Rico that, is like kind of a practice read. Then all of a sudden I put it on, and it's like, it's just like, it plays so well. I'm like getting invited back to people's houses after the gig just to kind of, I'm just like, whoa, okay, yeah, Orange Box, let's go, so that's my thing. I don't have a read favorite. Just have a bunch. You never know what's gonna, like, reads are haunted.
Yeah,
You never know what's gonna play. Anyway, that was my
true,
timer.
true.
That was my timer that just went
You
off
want
for
me to
5 minutes. Grab one of the top ones, the ones that aren't
okay.
particularly.
that aren't soaked? Let me see
Yeah,
here.
yeah, because we want
Oh,
the.
that's hot.
Oh yeah, good.
Okay,
Because as soon as the water gets cold,
okay.
it kind of
We got a 1.5 here.
1.5. There we go.
Should I?
Oh yeah, toss her on the your
You wait.
Yeah, yeah. That's the other thing, is you don't have to like suck on it like a lollipop at all. I always hated that.
Let's see what we got here,
All right.
boys.
Can you hold the read up to the camera while you put it on? I just want to see your read application
Oh,
technique.
this?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so
Nice. Good. All right, I'll let you finish the job there.
I'm probably doing it.
No worries.
I'm probably doing it wrong. Forgive me for my sins,
No.
please.
This is part of this is what this session is for. Yes. All right. Do as good a quality job as you can, and I will assess.
Okay, well, now I'm nervous, but okay, here
No
we
worries,
go.
no worries. All right. Yeah, show it to me. Cool. Alrighty. So one of the things, I mean, you know this mouthpiece and this ligature better than I would, but one of the things that I would highly recommend. Do you see that big white area at the top of the tip of the mouthpiece? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that. Ideally, that is the absolute most microscopic line that you can possibly get it. Yeah, like as tiny,
So
like
so
the
if I
yeah,
flatten it, this is what it looks like
yeah,
flattened. You're
yeah.
saying
You want that
it should
all the
be
way up, all the way up. Yeah,
okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah, all the way up and as even as you can get it, so that it's like a tenth of a millimeter on the left and a tenth of a millimeter on the right as well.
Okay.
Yeah, this is gonna be. Do you find you squeak here and there uncontrollably?
On the low end, I would say it's much more frequent. I would say probably going from G to low C is probably the most trouble, or starting any tune that starts on low C, like there will never be another U.
Right,
It's like a 50-50 shot.
right. All right, let's see when you're ready. And
Okay.
by the way, this I might be totally out to lunch on this recommendation. If this doesn't work for you, I turf it. It depends a lot.
No,
I just
I'm willing to try anything,
because the
in the name of jazz.
totally because I just find the more
Okay.
you can get like a
How's this?
seal, that's pretty good. Yeah, and you see how the reed doesn't actually line like the what do you call that? The cut of the reed doesn't actually line up
Yeah.
exactly to the cut. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Ideally, I found like the closer you can get reeds, like don't snip them yourself, but like if you get so lucky that a reed lines up perfectly, I just find that reed's just going to be with you for months and months. But you'd be surprised how many absolute players don't actually fit on the mouthpiece absolutely perfectly. How does that feel?
Well, I'm not mad at it. We'll see. We'll
I it's only 5 minutes. Some reeds don't take a soak very well, so but I find that's only about 20% of reeds don't take a soak very well. Usually,
I might have just done something wrong. There's a user error margin in here that's pretty high for my end. So let's see what we got here, boys. Let's see if we got
all right.
something.
Now, it's not gonna it's not gonna take as much air as you normal, but like if it's soaked well, it's you'd be surprised how much like it's like a lawnmower that's been tuned up really well. Is it's like it barely takes a half a pull to get going.
Okay.
All right, give me some low notes. How's that?
Okay. Hang on, hold on now. Yeah, we play tank, and that tenor part's boy. I'm gonna, you might have to strike that one from the record, but that one is very difficult.
Just be glad you're not playing the alto solo on that tune. Goodness gracious.
No, that one's not for me.
No, me
I
neither. That
said the
is
little tenor and alto trade on in the mood is tough enough. Yeah. Or maybe it's the placebo effect, but it's definitely doing something.
cool, cool, cool.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely sounds
Were
like
you
it
about to
could
say
be.
something there?
It definitely sounds like it could be a little wetter. Like I can just tell that the reed's got a little bit more room for moisture. So I'll just set a timer for another 10 minutes, and we'll switch out we'll switch out for one of the deep soaked ones a little bit later. But for now,
Okay.
that's kind of like that's it's honestly one of the biggest things that I want to spread is the knowledge of how much soaking reeds can power level your playing and your tone. You know, like it prevents you from having to play for 2 hours in order to get the saxophone to that money zone. It can just be like right there, ready to
Mm.
go, and especially for because and it also makes it easier, like I said, to climb up in the reed strengths because one of the things that you're going to notice as you climb up in the reed strengths, which is something that should definitely be a goal to get up to at least a 3, is the altissimo register, because of the size of the reed, is going to become a lot more. It's going to have a much more solid foundation to it. You're not going to the tip of the reed's not going to be getting bitten off and choked out. And
Mm.
there's just a lot more. You get a lot more control with a larger reed and it makes for a much richer tone because of the size of the. It's kind of like that basic physics principle. Is it's like the more you have, the more mass that's in motion, the more substance you can actually. There's more richness in there. It's easier to get overtones to pop out, so that you can sound a little bit more like have that full. Like when you hear somebody who's just started, that really flat sound versus somebody who's been playing for a while, and they just sound like every note is just like, how do you do that? Like it just like lights up the whole horn. With
Yeah.
accessing that, it's usually they're playing on at least a 3, with David Sanborn being rest in peace, the exception.
Mm.
I think he played on like a 2 or something like that. So you know but that's the exception.
For
um
sure.
Alrighty, back to jazz articulation. Unfortunately, most of the progress of this is something that kind of has to happen off of stream because it's a very You have to, listen to some copyrighted music and play along, sort of thing. So, let's work. How are we doing for time? Yeah, we got about 15 more minutes here, is what I kind of budgeted for. Let's
For
do
sure.
ghosting notes. Now, can you tell me again your understanding of what a ghosted note is?
Yeah. So it's when you are fingering the note and you're putting air through it, but because you are preventing the reed from moving with your tongue,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of has like it just is like a versus like the horn. Like you don't get the horn. You get like the you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I don't know how to
Yep.
describe it.
I'd call it a subtone. You get a subtone, yeah. Or it's like putting a
Yeah.
cutoff filter. If you really like audio engineering, it's like putting a cutoff filter to the higher frequencies of the. So can you give me a regular note and then ghost it, like and hold the ghost.
And you're saying ghost that one or like
Uh, or here, can you? Are you able to hear me all right?
what's that?
That comes through okay?
Almost. It was try it again there. I think maybe
Yeah.
because I
Oh,
was
I'm gonna
talking
play
there.
a little bit closer to there.
Oh, it's coming through distorted.
Oh, that's too
Maybe
bad.
maybe it's.
Um.
Can you hear me? Okay? Am I?
Oh yeah, your sound's really good. I mean, we overdrove your microphone as well. Let me see. I'm gonna turn down on my audio interface. I'm gonna turn down the pickup a little bit. I'm just gonna change the angle of the microphone. Is that coming in at all?
No, that wasn't. No, unfortunately, it wasn't coming through there.
Ah, that's so strange. Why would
I
that
don't know how like Twitch streamers like have like they like play guitar and like play piano and like horns and stuff, and they like come through perfectly. I don't know
Oh,
what magic or witchcraft they're using, but
it's an audio interface. Yeah, they have
that's a
everything all balanced and everything. I just have a 2 channel one, but it's tough to go from. I don't have my. I have 2 microphones, just the other one's not set up. So I should probably, for the next time I do something like this, make sure that both are ready. I just didn't know that this was going to be such an issue. With just this microphone. Okay, let me turn up. And it's so weird that
I
you
mean,
can
I'm
hear
just
me.
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine, but I think for Discord it might be the frequency in which like the horn is it's assuming maybe because of the maybe the difference in volume, it's assuming it's like, oh, this is meant to be. I think there's a setting you could probably turn off. I think it is in voice and video. It might be something there. Echo cancellation and noise suppression. So do you have none for noise suppression on?
Here, let me check this out. All right, so we got settings, user settings here. So
Yeah,
under
voice and
settings is
video.
voice and video.
Yeah, and then
Um,
scroll down to noise suppression.
Noise suppression.
That
There we go.
that
None.
might be a move.
Crisp. Oh dear. All right. Let's. I think this is probably the same texture that was coming through on, for softer notes and in the background, you sounded all right. But as soon as you got close to the microphone, it sounded crisp.
Yeah.
We'll say. We'll say. All right, let's try this now because I've turned that setting off. Is that coming through at all?
It came through for like a second and then it cut off. I think
Oh,
it's
it's for sure that setting, like you said. Let's go. Okay. Voice and video. Um, it was down here. None. Oh,
when
this
I
is
was
fine.
doing the water
Hmm.
when I was boiling the water, I could hear you playing in the background. So I don't know why it was coming through then.
Right. Right. Um, well, that's fine. I'll find something a different way to. I'll draw a picture or something like that so that I can outline. I'm just gonna toss the horn down. Because yeah, that I'll have to get that a solution to that wired up because if I'm not able to if I'm not able to sound good on stream, how can you possibly take me seriously? I mean, I could link you some
Hey,
YouTube
you've
videos, but
already changed the
you know,
game for me, so I'm here for it.
cool. Yeah, I can send you some of the YouTube videos, but that might just be AI. You never know. I could just be puppeteering myself. Okay, let's do MS Paint. Let's do MS Paint Pirate Software style.
We
MS
love that.
Paint. Alrighty, and is this the screen that I'm sharing?
Let's see.
And
I'm watching the ye old stream now.
nice. Okay, so we are going to. All right, you can see a giant black screen.
Yeah.
Perfect. Alrighty, so we're gonna take a brush out. We're gonna take color 2, and we draw with this. Okay, cool. So we're gonna draw a very rudimentary mouthpiece, right? Okay, we got our ligature here, and we've got the reed coming up here, and it's kind of got this space right here. What I want you to do when you're ghosting a note is, and this was taught to me actually by this is a tonguing technique taught to me by somebody in the local Philharmonic Orchestra when I used to be a clarinet player. I actually want your tongue. Ooh, I can use pink. Right there. Like, and mostly touching the tip of the reed, and just ever so softly, like just enough to just have to take out the higher frequencies of the reed. So you'll probably tickle yourself a little bit in the beginning, and it'll tough to get that exact. And use quite a bit of air, because you're limiting the reed, so you need a little bit more back pressure in order to get it vibrating with basically a wet blanket sitting on its head, which will be your tongue. Yeah, yeah, and just slowly apply the tongue. Like basically play a long tone and hold the long tone for like 2 seconds, and then slowly apply the tongue. So it's gonna sound like, it's just gonna really like the sound's really gonna narrow. Oh, but without stopping the note.
I getting it? Am I getting it here?
Well, just
You don't want the sound to stop. You want it to
just ever so
stop
slightly be
from.
dulled. Just ever so slightly be dulled. Ever so slightly not be your
Oh,
full tone.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like trying to stop the whole thing. Okay, hold on. Is that am I doing it? I can't tell if I'm doing it or not.
Oh, it'll take a bit. I
'Cause
mean,
I'm like,
the fact that you're playing on such a light reed, it might just like it's like basically putting a wet blanket on an ant. Like it's just gonna get crushed. But if we can work you up to like, a bit of a bigger animal to put a wet blanket on, it'll survive a little bit better. Um, yeah. But it
so
does.
the goal is it so that it should still be humming, but be a dull hum?
That's exactly it. And I'm actually gonna make a note right now, just in case we can't fully outline this in the session, especially with my mic not working so well. I'm just gonna make a note to how to ghost notes, and I'll make a YouTube short and I'll send it to you, and then you'll be able to, because that was what I benefited from the classical player, is that I heard him do it, and then I immediately, just like you're gonna do with the transcriptions and copying the player, I copied him, and it was like monkey see, monkey do, and as soon as it was just like bam, it just happened, sort of thing. So, but keep trying. Give
So
me another
where
two or
is your
three.
tongue? Where's your tongue the most of the time? Is your tongue let me
Yep.
see. So most of the time is your tongue like down here, just like pop pop pop, and you're saying do
Yeah,
that?
that's exactly it. That's exactly, yep. It'll speed up your tonguing so much because it'll literally. Where's my horn? Because instead of it's a 50 millimeter lens, so it's not gonna behave right. So instead of doing this, which is like it's real, there's not a whole lot of fast twitch there for your tongue. Like it's like,
Or is
it's
your I don't think I see anything. I don't. Are you showing me something or?
oh, right, because it'll be coming through on stream, but it's not coming through for you. Let me see if I
Oh,
can.
okay.
Yeah,
No worries.
no, I should be able to. Let's see if I can double. This might be a bit of a bandwidth test here. Um,
No
or
worries. It's not coming through.
or it might be an issue of it might be an issue of the fact that it's already being accessed by a different device.
So question though,
Go ahead.
because maybe this is another issue that I have, but my embouchure may not be great because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like this, right? Okay, so I got like I'm like I'm not trying to bite the reed, but it's like it's like there, but I'm like right here,
Yep.
and like this is like where
Oh
I'm
yeah.
at most of the
Right.
time. I'm like
Yep. Totally.
so
Yeah.
like
Which is too much
how do
tone.
I
Yeah.
so should I be taking in less mouthpiece or like I'm
Uh,
like let's see
so
here, can you
the
see
amount
me?
of mouthpiece that you take in really depends on what kind of tone you're going for. The more mouthpiece that you take in, the bigger, the more harmonics are going to be output by the reed, and so you're going to get a bigger sound if that's what you're going for.
Yeah. Like, I'm like trying to take in less mouthpiece to like get the tongue from here
Right,
to here.
right. To back it up, just back
I'm
up the
like,
tongue. Just back up the tongue. Like keep the mouthpiece, because like your tone's pretty well established at this point. So I wouldn't change the amount of mouthpiece because it's really going to cut off your tone, and we want to keep that tone quite big for jazz. But just back up the tongue and the back of the mouth.
oh, it feels so weird because like maybe
Yep.
my tongue big because it's like I feel like I'm cutting off my throat when I
it,
like I'm like pulling it back and like
right,
like trying to, instead of it being like here like
right.
and it's just is that like I don't know how to do it right.
Well, so everyone's embouchure is different. So what might work for me in terms of where my tongue sits in my mouth. Might not work for you depending on anatomy. Um,
It also feels heavy when I'm trying to like maybe I
right,
gotta like
right.
trying to figure out how to get it.
It makes a lot more sense.
That's
So that when you were trying to ghost notes early, you were putting quite a large portion of your tongue onto the reed itself. Hey, it wasn't just
yeah.
on the tip. Bingo. Okay, that's exactly, yeah. The tongue, going back to my diagram, for ghosting a note, the tongue literally just has to sit in that gap between the tip of the mouthpiece and the tip of the reed, and like just like the middle portion of it. And it's very subtle
Okay.
because it's just like your fingers. You know, if you watch players, that sounded a little
Okay.
closer. If you watch players that play really
Okay.
fast, and you'll see that their fingers really don't move a whole lot. It's the same thing with the tongue. You want to get it so that the movement of it, your tongue only has to move about 2 millimeters,
I
because
I
then you'll be
see.
able to tongue a
Yeah.
lot faster. Do da 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 that
Versus
sort of
like
thing.
I'm doing this. You're
That's
saying
exactly
just
it.
like kind of like
That bingo. That's exactly. It'll make it so much
okay.
easier to play the jazz articulation because you're not trying to move this big muscle back and forth at fast speeds. You're really just kind of like diving in and out of or I shouldn't dive is even too big of a verb. You're really just kind of like it's salsa dancing. You're just little tiny movements in a big dance floor, you know?
Neither. Okay. Versus that. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. I don't know the tongue version of Kegels, but that's like what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
do right now to figure out
yeah,
like where
exactly.
to put it.
Yeah, totally, totally. And embouchure work is always the worst because it messes you up a whole bunch for like a couple weeks, and then like
Yeah.
as you start to like the biggest way to develop embouchure is to play along with other players, like in that exercise I gave you earlier. Your mouth will start to it'll just start to change. Your throat will start to change as it'll go through that monkey see monkey do human process. Like the tongue will
Yeah.
start to you'll start to be able to hear where the player's tongue is in their mouth and adapt that for
Okay.
your
Okay.
particular. And I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite jealous of your embouchure. Every player that I ever met that had incredible tone that I absolutely tried to replicate had your exact face shape with the lip the lip shape and the wrapping on it. Like if you see how well, I guess you can't on mine. I have very thin lips, very thin. So I have to use yeah. So I have to use
Just,
a lot more cheeks to push in to get the same cushioning sort of thing. So whereas you're gonna
yeah.
yeah, like look exactly. You're like
Yeah.
it's a big hug naturally
well,
already. No, it's good. You're already
well,
it's
yeah. We
good.
got the hug going. Okay.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. No, the more support you can have on the, like the better.
Okay. I gotta jump here and say I know you said you have to go as well,
Yeah,
but
totally.
my friend, thank you so much for putting this together.
Hey,
I
cheers,
really
man. Hey,
appreciate this,
thanks for being the first
and
one to pop
and I
on.
and I, and I do mean it. If you come out to the Bay, let me know. Um, I'd really like to link up, but yeah, man. If you offer more lessons, we might can figure something out because
Yeah,
I'm trying to get
totally.
it right.
Oh, so I'll make you a deal, and I know you got to go, so I'll make this quick. Because people have asked like, well, can I do multiple? And I'm like, oh, I'm trying to cover like as many people as possible. If you can record yourself practicing and upload that to it can be a private YouTube channel or some sort of repository. If you can record 20 hours worth of practice, we can do this again.
Okay,
So
I
however
got
much,
I,
yeah,
I got you on that.
cool.
I
So
can get I can get 20.
cool, cool. If you because if you can do 20, then there's a point to doing another session. If I think that's kind of a
No, absolutely.
and then
I'm gonna get you 20.
okay.
Don't you worry about that.
It's a good
All right, my
uh,
friend.
hey, cheers, man. That'll be our
Thank you. So
our
sorry.
rate limiter.
The baby is crying, and the missus like, where are you?
Oh no, you gotta
texting me
go.
like
All right, cool. Yeah, totally. Awesome, man.
Thank you, man. Again, seriously.
Cheers. Best of luck. We'll talk to you again.
All right, absolutely.